Kumusta man mo? Nasa mong guwapang media ro?
Present in tonight's event, Mayor President, is about 54 members of the Davao media. We have about 10 national correspondents and your local followers, media persons, including photographers and TV cameramen, are all here, gathered for the first time. Gimingaw daw sila sa imo.
Yes. Samot ako. Ito may kwarta. Kung ba kami?
Sir, pwede tamang impact. Are you satisfied with the present administration?
Well, in a sense nga wala mang bugoy nakita nga major errors ba o apil ng corruption, ano, wala man abuso. Apparently si Marcos is treading on a straight path. Naalay mga kanang asyod sa gawas, any administration man na, kanang nasanay nagyudiha sa mga historical corrupt agencies. Di na lang ko kung pangalan because I do not want to insult since I cannot prove it. Okay man. Wala mong ko. I cannot say that there's a need for a change or anything aside from the normal dagan sa atong democratic process. Wala ko yung there's an agitation for wala. Si Marcos is quite careful. I really do not know sa outside sa Malacanang. Wala naman po ko I do not have any contacts anymore since I retired. So I do not bother to ask questions. So what I see is what I get. Karong panahon na. But aside from that, corruption or anything, wala ko'y I do not have the hard mura nang haka that's the usual administration after administration man na. Ang ako lang concern karon is to help my friend si Pastor kay tinuod lang ng NTC ba wala man sila nakita they have not come up with a even an allegation, huwag na yung charge of any wrongdoing. Ang sunshine or whatever o kung sana yung has always been careful. So, huwag nga nung naingon anak, wala lang po ko mo I'm just biding my time but one of these days siguro I'll just to come up with a statement not necessarily defending Pastor Kibuloy but just to say something about the way things are. And it could mean anybody. It could mean Pastor Kibuloy or anybody for that matter. Sa wala ko nakita nga naigisunod nga hustong procedure. Wala akong nakitang procedure na tama na sinunod. Kita mo. So, hanggang dyan na muna tayo as kung ano ang mangyari after that. Kasi nadali yung aking gikan sa masa. Isali ko na lang yung akin because yun ang importante sa akin yung I do not want to control the president, but rather I'd like to talk to him indirectly kung bakit ganon. Ako, as far as I am concerned, I have not crucified him, not even criticized him severely, maybe commented on the directions that the government is proceeding. Yun lang naman. Wala akong nakitang.
Does the act constitute a bit of curtailing press freedom? As lawyer, how do you look at all these things?
Well, itong dito kay Pastor, if there is no immediate correction, not remedial, because kung remedial, medyo masama na yan. If there is a remedy, then there has to be something which has to be done. I don't know, it's between them and hindi man ako I have never interfered. Hindi man rin si Pastor never ask me to intervene or whatever. Ever since, wala talaga. So, hindi naman niya akong otherwise, kung kinausap niya ako noon, hindi, pumasok na ako sa eksena, pero wala man. Yan ang sila. So, as there is still time for them to correct if there is something to correct, gawin na nila ngayon. Wala naman akong ako naman sa gikan sa masa. I don't know if I strayed along the courteous path. Hindi correct but courteous. Wala naman akong I cannot remember criticizing severely anybody there in government. Ako lang, alam naman ninyo ako, I'm hard on crime, but sa government failures and errors, historically, it has always been a suggestion for me.
Do you feel being singled out? Because series of things happen now, like the Castro thing, filing of the case, you have the ICC, and now you have the SMNI, and what's more do we expect from other camp to hit you, and how would you feel about it, and how would you respond to this?
Let me be very clear on this. Marcos has nothing to do with the ICC. It is the fucking ICC interfering in our private affairs, in the sense that it intrudes into the sovereignty of the other nations. Yan Marcos, walang dyan. I am not in any way dragging him into the picture. Wala. Matagal na yan, ICC na yan. Wala pa siya sa picture, nandiyan na yung ICC na yan. Ganito na lang, if ICC is, or wag na lang wag na natin bigyan ng importansya yung ICC. Let me just address the Filipino people. If there is anything that I did, it was because I did it for my country. Hanggang dyan lang ako. Ginawa ko para sa mga anak ninyo. Hayaan mo na yung ICC, hayaan mo na yung human rights. Wala akong pakialam sa kanila. Kung may ginawa man ako, kung tingin ng iba tama, kung tingin ng iba mali, wala akong pakialam. Basta ginawa ko para sa bayan ko, para sa mga anak ko. And you know that. I've been mouthing it on several occasions in the past. So they can go ahead, ilham mo yung ICC. Let them come in, they can go in and out as a matter of fact. I do not really care if they are here to stay, to investigate, to stay here forever, or to stay here for sightseeing. I'm too old to worry about this thing na ganito. Retired na ako. Tingnan ko lang kung anong what they can come up with, then sagutin ko sila.
Mayor, apparently Manila is papatanong kung are you holding secret meetings here with politicians, PNP, AFP? Sabi nga nandito na daw sa Davao, nag-meeting ka daw. Yun ang worry ng Manila.
Alam mo, since the last time that besides other, isa lang ang bingi ng tainga ko ngayon, dalawa na. You have to either I have to read your lips or you have to talk muffled kasi ang ano mo.
Kaya sabi ng Manila, you're meeting with AFP, PNP officers, officials, armed forces officials, other politicians and other important. You have plans, secret meetings for the staff, may gagawin kayo against
Ako?
Yeah.
Sino maniwala sa akin?
They're meeting you daw, hindi yun ang basta gusto na namin lang. Secret meeting daw kayo. Kaya yan ang worry ng Manila. Kaya pa-check sa akin.
Sino naman ang gagong pulis o pati military na magkipag-meeting sa akin to disturb? You must be crazy.
Who do you think is nag-leak ng mga ganyan ng mga balita?
What do I think? It's all their insecurity maybe. It's all in the mind. Why would I bother to tinker with these things at this... bakit ko hindi ginawa yan when I was at the height of my... naging presidente na ako? Well, for what purpose? To what? Play somebody else in place of Marcos? I'm comfortable with Marcos. Why should I replace him? And who am I to replace him at this time of my life? Hindi ko ginawa at the height of my power. Ngayon pa nanahimik na ako. Huwag na silang it's either they're bullshitting around or just plain insecurity. But whatever, I'd like to... Ano mo na presidente na ako, wala na akong... I'm quite contented, or I'm quite content with what I have achieved for myself, for my family, and for my country. Okay na ako doon. Wala na akong... If there's somebody who'd like to fuck with this country, let him do it. Wala na akong kasali niya.
How will you address people are saying that you are behind the destabilization plot because you wanted to reposition the vice president? Because they say you are not contented with the current government and you are telling us that you're fine with Mr. Marcos.
In the first place, what would be my objective or purpose actually?
They're saying that you're repositioning the president, the vice president. That's why you are plotting the coup. Is it true? Is it cruel for you to hear that?
There are a lot of stupid people around. So they say, they are the stupid people saying these are the things that they would like to. Dumaan ako pagka-presidente, I have had my days of fun and glory. Hindi ko na kailangan balikan yun. Pumasok ako sa presidency na kilala ninyo ako. Lumabas ako sa presidente, kilala ninyo ako. I went to Manila to become the president, to rule over this land, living that old house there in Doña Luisa. I finished my term. Bumalik ako sa Doña Luisa.
Given the circumstances and talks which you said you have nothing to do with it, you're fine with yourself, how do you ask the Filipino people to reunite for a common good at this point in time, sir?
Well, let others do it. I'm through. Ibig sabihin, Hoy Cordapia, ganito yan, tapos na ako. I have my time. I was given a time to be there to contribute something to my country. Tapos na. Wala.
Okay, let's give Anna a chance, yes? Yes, go ahead.
Yes, Mayor,
Sige kam lang yung Grace Ugans.
first question, dalawa na question. First question is reaction or statement sa mga nangyayari kay VP Sara.
What about BP Sara?
Yung mga pangkikit sa budget, and yung mga nangyayari sa kanya.
Well, I cannot at this time be an active participant in politics. It's all politics. It's governance and politics. What's that the problem? You cannot remove politics. She has to, at this time, be on her own.
The second question po is, reaction na sinabi ni Senator Coco Pimentel na tapos na ang honeymoon stage ng Marcos at Duterte dahil kay Romualdez. Honeymoon stage ng Marcos and Duterte.
Wala man kaming honeymoon, hindi mo kami kasintahan. In the sense that sabihin ko talaga the best of every relationship political.
How do you describe the relationship now between the Duterte and the Marcos? If you are going to describe it.
Me and the president, let us simplify. Ako ang presidente. Wala. Tapos na ako. So, I have nothing to do with him. And apparently, he has nothing to do with me. But, wala. Malayo na masyado ako. Ayaw ko nang makialam.
Okay, yes, Carol.
Yeah. Good evening.
Oy, nabanho man yung sikwan.
Carol.
Abang ang ganit ka?
The resurrection of...
It's almost 9 months.
Can you use the microphone?
I cannot really hear you. You have to be... I either you have to be patient with me or you have
Okay.
to forgive me
Sige po.
because I'm getting really old.
It is
Okay.
9 months to the filing of certificates of candidacy. Do you consider yourself a retired politician or are
Yes.
you running again for mayor?
I retired.
But you said that in 2016.
Wala na ako. I'm telling you the truth, wala na ako.
So who will run for mayor? Your son again?
I don't know. I really do not know. But wala na ako. Hindi ko na kaya. Ako, I can only answer for myself. Alam mo, Carol, basi ginusto ko man, hindi na kaya ng katawan ko. At hindi, why do I have to make some pretensions here? Kung hindi mo na kaya, huwag ka nang, diba? Para ka magpasungkod-sungkod ka pa dyan ng mga mayor na nakita mo, nakikay na ako. May battered ni sa kakasimplang sa motor. Payback time.
What about your political party?
What, PDP?
You only have a few remaining members.
Ay, tatanungin ko pa sila because we have to make a stand. I think that itong sa my advice to my party, I said I have to confer with them, but they have to decide on it also na kung kailan gusto nila kayo mag-usap. Itong yung itong 400 million.
Mhm.
Yan, isa yan. Other is itong Plan Chacha.
Mhm.
Proposal maybe this year or proposal and Chacha together after hindi ako sangayon.
Mhm.
We have a good constitution. There is absolutely, I find it in perfect condition, absolutely nothing wrong with it.
With this present constitution?
Yeah. Ano palitan nila?
But you wanted to change it to transform the country into a federal state, di ba? Federal government in 2016.
Yun ang ano ko. That when I was president, I tried at that time na baka kaya kong mag-ano ng problema for the purpose of discussing or maybe creating a federal government. Hindi yung to perpetuate myself in power or to extend the term of office because you're only limited to one. Nothing of that sort.
Mhm.
Yun ang ano ko. It was a little bit higher in noble one.
But you failed. Whatever happened to that federal dream?
Because it was always with suspecting. It was fraught with suspicion. So, ay sabi ko, ayaw ninyo, di ba? Ito lang naman akin, ito para lang ito sa bayan. And for maybe really to progress a little bit faster. Maybe we can do it in about half of a day's work. What would it take you for a day, the whole day to do it? Baka magamit natin ito sa ilang oras lang, or if it is a month's time, maybe half of the time we can do it.
Yeah, since
Parang ganun lang yun.
this is the first time that you're meeting actually with the Davao media since you left the presidency. I was just wondering what is your assessment in terms of your six-year term? What were you so proud of, and what were you so disappointed with?
Well, I've always been proud of my son. I really don't know if it is self-serving statement, but that is all that I can say. I leave it to the people to decide whether I failed miserably or I did fairly good. But to rate me as having been very good.
No, I was not asking for a rating po. I'm asking, anong programa ninyo in your 6-year term na masyado kayong proud of, and saan kayo na-disappoint?
Sa babae, na-disappoint sa proud law and order. Sa law and order.
Law and order.
Talagang bumaba.
Despite the criticisms against on
Bumaba
your
yung
war on drugs?
NPA, barkada mo. Bumaba yung NPA, bumaba yung abuso sa military, sa pulis, sa gobyerno, at sa corruption.
The killings that are attributed to your war on drugs.
Drugs?
Yeah.
Those dive yung drugs. Well, of course, kaya nga nandyan na yung ICC. Hayaan mo yung ICC. You know, if you go down to the brass knuckles, if this country would go down the drain, the ICC cannot come and bail us out. Alam mo, pag nasumagad tayo dito sa droga, walang ICC pupunta dito na tutulong kami sa inyo. I have yet to see the ICC helping a country that has been destroyed by drugs na tinulungan nila. On your own. Kaya pag ikaw ang isang leader, pinayagan mo itong mga putang inan to, patay ka. Ipoposta mo yan because long term yan eh. It does not only happen to your administration. You're only there for a time being. But if you allow drugs to,
But the drug problem is still there.
Paski saan man, pero hindi masyado. At least lang, I don't know about now. Pero noon kasi, alam mo, I was born during my time. Wala naman kami nakikita nung karoon na nire-rape ng bata. Yung nire-rape ng babae tapos pinaputulan ng ulo. I mean, at yung we're still growing up. Yung dumating yung droga, ang putang ina talagang pinaka-bastos na pinaka-bastos na history natin. Wala yun sa atin noon eh. Sa amin.
Okay, thank you, Carol. Let's recognize Dennis Lasso first.
Mr. President, do you have plans to create another political party?
No more politics. I'm retired. Retired na talaga. I'm tired. I do not have plans. Heretofore. Wala, ayoko na. Well, ayoko na ng politika. Hindi naman ako nasusuka, pero I would find it disgusting for me to still meddle in politics. 90 years old na ako.
So kung ayaw mo na sa politika, do you still have plan to help Davao City?
Wala na rin because the only way I can help Davao as I am equipped to do it if I can still is really through politics. Yun ang kaya kong natutunan ko kasi managerial to manage a city or a province. Kaya dito yung mga city managers in other countries they are appointed, but since this is a democracy, we are elected. So if you happen to elect a politician or who has the knack for enterprise, swerte yung syudad. Pero kung magkatsamba ka ng bugok, patay.
Okay, Ruth.
Kakurap.
Ruth Pilot, Manila Times.
Hi, Mayor. Sir, Sir, I have 3 questions po. Una po, yung reaction niyo po because the government is really pushing for the transport modernization and Senator Coco Pimentel is appealing, no, is asking the government to suspend the implementation of the transport modernization, and during your administration, sinuspend niyo po itong implementation ng transport modernization. Any reaction to this, President?
Hindi ko nakuha talaga, ma'am.
Yung transport modernization, Mayor.
Yes.
Yes, because the government is pushing for the modernization.
Yes.
And Senator Coco Pimentel also is asking the government to suspend the implementation. So, ano yung comment niyo dito, sir?
That modernization thing has been in the books for almost 3 decades. So, tanungin ko siya, when would be the most opportune time to do it? 50 years from now? 100 years from now? Tagal na yan. Marami pang buhay na media man dito. Ganun na yan. So when will government do it? Kung ano ka ng paano, pa-retreat ka ng pa-retreat, mag-retrogress ka, then there is no little hope of relief transforming this country into a better one than the last 3 or 4 generations ago. Kasi nga dapat yan, alam mo, every 10 years yan, may bagong muka. Or at least a change of, in the policy directions. Kung hanggang ano lang tayo, hanggang maawa ka lang palagi, ganito, because wag muna kasi mahirap. There will never be a time that we can do it within the next 20 years if that is how we adapt that kind of attitude.
Thank you, Mayor. Second, Mayor, itong exploratory talks ng government at saka NDFP, meron tayong comment ito, Mayor.
Exploratory talks,
NDFP at saka Philippine government po. Para sa peace talks po.
You mean the resumption of the peace talk?
No.
Assumption, matagal na rin yan. So many administrations ago, panahon pa nila pula po yan ang umpisahan ang advice ko sa government, just go ahead and totally crush the insurgency process once and for all. O pababa naman yan, tutulak na lang yan. Just a little shove would do.
Thank you, sir. Last na lang, Mayor.
Kasi ko yun.
Because it was during your time dito sa Davao City, na-approve yung total firecracker ban ordinance, and during sa Christmas at saka bagong taon po, merong mga kagulo nangyayaring may gumagamit na mga pyrotechnics. Mayor, merong sinabi ang city tourism natin, baka it's high time na i-revisit natin yung ordinance.
Ganito yan. Noong panahon ko pa, I would have wanted a total ban sa firecracker. Wala talagang naidulot yan ng kabutihan sa bayan natin. Instead, marami nang namatay ng mga Pilipino, ilang generations na, after generations may namatay. May share of Filipinos dead because of itong firecrackers. Itong para sa mga celebration, fiesta, ano. Wala akong nakitang kaano dyan. Ako, mahilig ako sa pulbura, pati itong kamay ko naputukan. Let's say. I suggest that one brave soul in Congress could muster enough strength to write out a law banning firecrackers altogether for all time. Wala yang ginagawang well, maybe except government alone. But government should see to it that nobody, maski lamok, walang mamatay. If it is a government-sponsored show, and only government, pwede pa siguro, just to keep up with the upbeat sa mga panahon na yan, fiesta or whatever. Pero kung ilagay mo sa it's one of the crude practices of the past. Dapat ang Pilipinas medyo
Okay, Ruth, can you pass the microphone to your
Good evening, Mayor. May papatanong yung Miss 5 Manila sa iyo po. Ano daw ang reaction nyo sa mga kumakalat na video ngayon ng withdrawal of support ng mga retired generals kay BBM po?
Well, I cannot answer you because I do not know how many generals have withdrawn. At saka wala naman bisa yung support nila. Simpatya ng yun ang active, ang medyo delikado. Kasi because they have the wherewithals, tropa, the command. Yung mga retired, hindi nga nila ma-withdraw yung siguro ma-withdraw na hindi nila ma-withdraw yung support sa asawa nila. Wala.
Si Randy muna kanina pa.
Ganito yan eh. Let me explain. How many times in the past na nagkaroon tayo ng a little bit of convulsions in our country. Tapos ilang beses tayo bumalik. Tapos ganoon rin dati. Nothing has changed. Neither so but alam mo kasi it is very important that however rotten the system is, it is up to the people in peaceful ways and means to initiate the reforms, either to a constitutional convention or Congress, converting itself into a constituent assembly, and maybe, but it takes a lot of realization dyan sa, it's a long process there. Kasi, pagka gano'n na lang, tapos i-ano mo yung constitution, walang mangyari sa akin. Every time na may marong ayaw mong gusto mong wala ng. So, wala tayong, our country must survive. Our country must continue. Must have continuity. Must have stability. Not only for us, but for our children. Every time that there is a destabilization or there is a, how would they call it, a breakage in the normal processes of democracy, nagsusugal tayo eh. And we have to take care, I said, of the next generation. We cannot do it maybe once in every maybe 50 years. Kung talagang hindi na matiis. Pero hindi, basta-basta na mayroon naman magkamali dyan o no. That is not a solution. That cannot guarantee stability, not for ourselves, but for the next generation. Pawala na tayo, whether we go into a hemorrhage itong generation na ito, it does not really matter, but what should be our worry will be our children. Yan ang isipin natin. Kaya tayo ngayong matatanda na, huwag na natin isipin natin. We do not think for ourselves. Para sa mga anak na natin. So we try to go for a stable system. Not really permanent status quo, but a system that is really work for us. But as much as possible, it must be democratic. Yung hindi madugo. Kaya ako hindi na papayag na yung sabihin mo na change tayo tapos na magkaroon ng spasm madugo. I will not go for it. In the end, wala rin eh. Kasi yung kultura, ganun tayo eh. Ganun ang kultura natin. Ilang beses po tayo nag-revolt. Pero ni Gore, Estrada. Kaya na natin yung demokrasya. Let it work or help democracy work.
Mayor, ayoko patulan to pero narinig ko kanina si Attorney Harry Roque talagang nagsalita at nagtanong din. Vlogger Maharlika in social media is masyadong sikat ngayon yung sinabi niya. May video daw siya na si BBM nag-aano ng pulburon, yung isyong pulburon, and ang nagbibigay daw si Justice Secretary at ang bumibili ay si First Lady. Pero this becomes an issue ngayon at kanina nagtanong si Harry Roque, narinig ko, what if ito ay totoong may video, what would happen to the country kung mapatunayan? Even yun, narinig din kita before, may sinabi ka regarding a leader na nagko-cocaine. I just don't know who it is. But right now, may lumalabas po na ganyan.
Wala yan. Yan video. Well, I can say that every hindi lang leader, leader dito, maraming mayor dito nagko-cocaine. There's no such thing. Kasi kung nandyan pa yan, matagal ang lumabas yan. Wala yan.
Mayor, balikan ko rin yung problema sa insurgency. During your term, ano ba talaga yung dahilan bakit na-stalemate yung negotiation?
Na?
During your term, bakit ano talaga yung dahilan bakit na-stalemate yung negotiation ng NTF panel sa yung government panel? Na-stalemate.
Well, until now, it's still the same. It has always been the same. Ang tingin ko dito, ang wala talagang, I cannot doubt the sincerity of government because you remember, I was with government. Hindi ko mas ano ako mas yung hindi sincere yung kabila. To really sit down and work on it of what we want to happen to this country.
So may big possibility na kung sakali mabuksan itong pisto men after sa exploratory talk, ganun pa rin yung mangyari. Because they're not serious.
I don't know. I hope that it would be a change for the better. At least a better part of the talks would succeed to make way for the succeeding ones to prosper.
Last na lang, Mayor, magastos ba talaga itong pisto? Billion daw yung gagastusin.
Awang ko, hindi ko talaga maano to. Until now, litong-lito rin ako dyan eh. Mas mabuti siguro kung mag-umpisa muna tayo dito sa civil society and the responsible civil society that are not attuned with the communists. Huwag yung mga progressive. Yung ayaw ng komunista, ayaw ng pamuraan nila. Tapos, mag-usap yun. Rather than government diretso. Hindi mo kaintindihan.
Hirit lang sa
Preliminary muna dito sa baba.
Naging successful yung EO-70 mo noon. At pagdating ni rapporteur dito, UN rapporteur, gusto niya ipa-abolish.
Sino ba? Ano ba yung 70?
Ano ba yung rapporteur eh?
Ano yung 17 na sinasabi mo?
Yung executive number 70 ni Presidente noon.
Ano yun?
What is it?
Sa ano nga yun?
All of the nation approach.
All nation approach mo noon. Regarding dito sa mga nagsusurrender ng mga NPAs. At sinusuportahan naman ng NTF-LCAC. At pagdating nitong si UN Rapporteur, ay yan talaga yung una niyang sinasabi na ipa-abolish or buwagin.
Bakit daw?
Diba? Sino? May nagsabi sino sa kanya.
Hinampas mo siguro ang
Okay.
Yung report to has no business talking about the internal affairs of the world.
Yes. Okay.
Sir, balikan ko lang yung
Can you stand up, please? Can you use the microphone?
Okay. Good evening, Mayor. Balikan ko lang yung anti-firecracker ordinance po. Since firecracker ordinance, total firecracker ban ordinance po dito sa Davao City since napasa po ito 21 years ago, and then right now parang walang bisa sa iba. It's because even if it exists, marami pa rin nagva-violate, and some of the violators are organizer pa ng isang city-initiated na event. And then right now they are calling for tawag nito
Ganito na ha.
amendment po.
Ganito na. Alam mo, sinabi ko sa'yo, I was not joking when I said na medyo hirap na ako sa ears ko.
Okay po.
Magbinisaya ka na lang diretso. Saan mo lang?
Ano, Mayor, naiusa ka 21 years na ang ato ang total firecracker ban ordinance.
Total
Firecracker ban ordinance.
cracker.
Oh, basta bawal pabuto diri sa Davao.
Ngayong panahon yun.
From your time pa. And then right now, na yung mga events organizer na ginatry nila bend ang ordinance, and then there's a clear violation jud nga makita based sa videos nga makita.
They violated.
Oh, they violated really.
So,
And then karon
by what means?
ilahaging nagamit gid sila og pyrotechnic, sparkler in
For
particular.
example, like New Year?
Yes po. City government initiated.
Ang city government mismo?
Organizer. Private organizer.
Private organizer?
Yes po.
Not government. The government cannot violate the ordinance.
Pero ang ilang ginapush karon, Mayor, is i-amend or i-revise ang ordinance nga 21 years na nag-exist.
Well, it is 21 years old. If the present council would deem it necessary for changes to take place, it's not my call anymore. Wala na ako sa control. So, I cannot stop them. I cannot delay it. Wala na. Why power? I leave it to the present people who are in control of government, including the executive department. Kung papayag sila. Sino bang si Baste? Tanong yan, that should be question for Baste, not for me. Wala na ako dyan. Malayo na masyado ako. By a mile.
But since ikaw ang brainchild, ani Mayor, ani nga ordinance,
Wala. It's material. There are no permanent laws and permanent ordinances. No such thing. There is no permanent law at all. It bawal, national or local. No permanent ordinance, no permanent laws, no permanent constitutions. Otherwise, we cannot change it anymore, modify or whatnot. You know, the constitution should keep its pace with the civilization. Ganon rin ang batas pati sa.
Okay, thank you.
May gabi, Mayor.
Oy, may gabi eh.
May gabi. Mayor, mangutan na lang ko, binisayon na ako praklaro. Kung niaging adlaw or last week ata, nagpahigayon og rally ang imuhang mga supporters dito sa Metro Manila. Nag-rally ba ito sila, Mayor, kay gisuportahan nila mong panawagan sa mga congressman to open the book. Gani na yung mga pipila mga taga Davao nga naa dito, and isa sa mga supporter nimo si Elizabeth Oropesa mapay kauban dito. Are you aware of it? Kabalo ba ka ani?
Si Kinsase.
Sila Elizabeth Oropesa and some Davaoenos are there. Caught on a video.
Were there attending the rally?
Yeah, nagrally sila dito in support sa panawagan nimo sa Congress to open the book. Usay aware ba ka ani, nakabalo ka?
Wala. I read the newspapers every day. I have copies of about 3 or 4 dailies. Wala mo ko yun na napasahan.
Ang nag-cover ata is MNI eh. And naa sila dito. I think one of it si Sir Ulamit, nakita na po sa kwan eh, sa video. Wearing PRRD t-shirt. Mao na nga, I just want to know kung nakabalo ba ka ni sa gibuhat sa mga supporters nimo dito sa Metro Manila.
Wala ko gibaw. Wa man pud sila ngayang permiso sa ako. Kung ngayon po sila permiso sa ako, whatever you believe in, go ahead. Wag mo na akong pakialaman. My sentiments or my views are no longer relevant. If
So-
at all, it would be in a guise of an advice.
So if ever Mayor magpadayon ni sila nga aktibidad sa mga tigsuporta nimo, unsay panawagan nimo sa ilaha?
Nga
Halimbawa, magpadayon sila sa mga activity nila nga mag-rally in support of your panawagan po sa una nga katong i-open the book sa Kongreso, katong auditing and everything, o unsay masulti nimo sa ilaha?
well, in the sense that it is a legitimate demand. It's a legal demand. Di nimo na mapunggan. With or without my word or blessing, it is always the right of every citizen. Each one of us has that right to demand an accounting of the money of our money, the people, to the last centavo. Di mo pigilan niya. And I would be the last to stop them. Because it's their constitutional right anyway. Because it's their money. Sila yung may-ari ng pera eh.
Very light question. What do you do Mondays to Sundays to Monday to Sunday to Saturday
Monday to Saturday.
as a retired politician?
Monday to Saturday I die. On Sunday I resurrect.
No, I mean, you just said that you still read the newspapers, 3 to 4 newspapers.
Ano babasa ako?
Okay.
Tama.
Do you still read books?
3 or 4 dailies. Manila Times.
Ano pa ho? Ang binabasa ninyo?
Yung column mo, hindi ko naman makita kung saan ang yawa.
Hindi po. Anong newspapers ang binabasa ninyo po?
Manila Times, Tribune, may papalit-palit yung iba. Minsan na mayroong
Philstar,
Star?
Philippine Star,
Inquirer?
Papalit na. Pero apat yun.
Yeah. You watch Netflix? So what do you do after you've read the newspapers?
Nagbabasa ako karon.
You still read books? Have you read Pat Evangelista's book?
Hindi pa.
Or the other books on Duterte?
No, not yet.
Marami na yun. And then what else po? Aside from reading books and newspapers, you're not into Netflix. Are you into...
Ano ako, hindi masyado ako sa fiction. Make believe kasi hindi ako masyado sa non-fiction ako.
with the apostle. Very good.
And your apostolate?
Apostolate.
Is that a Sunday routine with the grandchildren?
Yes, but on Sundays I go to mass.
Okay.
Three times. One in the morning, noontime mass, and in the evening. I am a very holy man. I'm whole. I'm a whole human being now.
Okay, guys, with your permission, I would like to raise some questions, Mr.
Yes, sir.
President. Yeah. I wonder why. Let me proceed from where the two Ediths came from, Edith Regalado and Edith Caruana. They're talking about the so-called destabilization talks in Davao. Why, of all places, in Davao, when the rumbling among the generals, retired and maybe active and men and women in the AFP, actually is starting in Manila.
Strongest. The sentiment is strongest in Manila, not here. The sentiment. So, kaya nga, bakit dito sa Davao? I mean, if you chance the question, for example, Davao, wala dito. Anak ko, I've grown tired of it actually. Ayoko na ng gulo ko, let us just follow the Constitution. Otherwise, sabi ko sa inyo, wala na itong, it would, one or two or more will lead to a very unstable future for our children. Wala nang ginawa to kasi kung may isang military dyan, o mga pulis, ano sila, ma-disappoint, ma-disenchanted, basta gusto nila Jesus Maria Josep, mas marunong. Let the people decide. Kaya nga may eleksyon eh.
On another issue, Mayor President, let me take you to the nagging issue about the relationship between China and the Philippines. It has soured up because of the position taken by President Bongbong Marcos. From the time he sat as president, he flew to the U.S. not only to announce to the American public that, look guys, Marcos is back in power, but also to plead to Biden to, help the country progress in terms of, more investments from the U.S. coming to the Philippines. But because of the issue of bases, additional military bases in the country, indeed there were businessmen who want to invest in the Philippines, but when they flew here, when they left the U.S., they skipped the Philippines and proceeded to Vietnam to invest there, not in the Philippines. Yes.
Alam mo, from the looks of it, actually, Vietnam is more palatable. Vietnam is more stable nowadays than the Philippines. Sa tingin nila. Second is ang Philippines kasi is corruption. Pag umpisa pa lang nila sa itaas, doon pa lang sa entry point nila, doon pa lang sa immigration. Pagdating nila doon sa mga offices where they intend to do business and at whose department they are supposed to go there, under which there's the business business interest falls within that ambit of the jurisdiction. Grabe na ang corruption. So wala masyadong takers ang except for the huge multinationals kasi hindi nila magalaw eh. Pero yung maliliit na lang yung struggling corporations in the itong sa trade lang, wala masyadong pumapasok because one is corruption and the other is the instability of not that the itong national but in the countryside. You want to go to lands, mga plantation, alam mo ang come-o natin dito, wala tayong iba eh. It's agriculture, lupa. Ang Pilipinas, lupa. So sa agriculture, but you know, medyo unstable ang countryside natin. It's there in Mindanao. There's the insurgency problem. With this, it is like an off and on thing. So also with the communist, hindi pa talaga natin. So hardly no takers, except the big corporations. But the big corporations can only survive if they have an equity na tabla-tabla. Para siguro 60-40%, 40% Filipino, 60% sa kanila. Pero kung sabihin mo na alangin ang contribution ng kapital, hirapan.
On the other hand, Mayor, because of your foreign policy, especially in dealing with China via bilateral talks, China has poured in a lot of investments in the country. In fact, it is number one in terms of investment and number one in terms of trade. It runs to 1.7 trillion of pesos in investment compared to the US, for example, which is about what? 200 million, $200 billion.
Alam mo, I'm in a wonderment why until now we are so enamored with the dollar, quote unquote. Wala na yan eh. And wala na tayong nakukuha sa Amerika. Sila yung merong nakukuha sa atin. And that is really that before their country can be destroyed, yung kanilang detachment dito sa Far East would be yung Republic of the Philippines is the detachment or outpost of America. Yan nga, hanggang ngayon hindi pa na akala ko kasi na natuto na itong mga Pilipino. Dili pa sa Amerikano. Sus Marisep. Wala ka tayong makuha dyan sa Amerikano. What? Wala. Di mabuti pa ang China nakabigay pa ng mga trabaho sa atin. Korea, Japan, Amerika. Ang ina. Diyan pa lang sa immigration, pasin ka ng anong ginagawa mo dito? What are you doing here? Go home. Sabihin pa sa Amerikano sa iyo, if you do not have a million pesos or dollars to spend here, go home. We do not need your presence here. Kaya, bakit hanggang enamored pa sa Pilipinas yung
Okay? Would you want the gift giving already?
sige, one last, two last, three last.
Okay, yes. Can you use the microphone, please?
Reaction niyo sa UN military
Pakapin.
exercise na Philippines?
Okay, pakingan mo nga. Mahina na talaga ang tainga ko.
Comment lang nimo, Mayor, sa joint military exercises sa Pilipinas o Amerika. According to China, i-provocative act sa part sa Pilipinas.
What do you mean? Is there a need for it, or is it still useful?
Yes, sir.
I don't think I don't think there's a need for it anymore. Wala naman tayong pinag-ano nila. It's to their protection, to their advantage, and nothing else. Wala lang tayo, beachhead lang tayo dito. Na bago sila maka-cross going to Guam, before they can cross the Pacific Ocean, reaching Guam, which is really the Marianas Island, the trust territories of the America. Bago sila tayo magdating doon yung kalaban, magdaan muna dito. And the Philippines is a huge one base, air base, naval base nila dito. Though not really grounded on soil, but they dock, they patrol, they get their rations here. They operate within the comfort zone of the Philippine territory. Wala naman tayong makuha dyan. I do not see any. I do not need America anymore. Maybe noon, but now no more. Ano man? Ito na lang. Magpunta ka lang sa Maynila kung may pamasahe ka. Pumunta ka ng embassy ng Amerika. Magpagawa ka ng appointment. Pagdating mong appointment day mo, maghingi ka ng visa. Tignan mo kung makakuha ka ng visa. Pero Amerikano, anytime. Basta puti. Sikat yan.
Mayor, okay na mga tana about local politics. Mag-election naman good next year.
Mas maayo.
Midterm.
Sigurado na itong padawagan, no?
For the midterm. Is good na ba sa family ninyo? Especially for the local election. And doon sa imong reaksyon sa mga nanggawas nga, i-mention na lang ako, ang pamilyang Nograles daw, nangandam na po for the upcoming local election. Unsa imong reaction ani, Mayor?
Nagandamay lang ta.
Nag-survey na daw karon sa Barangay 3. Niangkon sila na nag-survey. The question is, kung wanay mudagan Duterte, kinsang apelido o kinsa inyong gustong mudagan, mapuli?
Kanang pinakatarong nga tao. Dili man tanan, you cannot look for the most perfect, honest, the most pero as near as kanang pinakatarong ba sa mga nasa mga politiko, kinsa pinakatarong na nabilin. Ug wala, it's about time that they naimosod nga second generation na. Matanda na kami, ako wala na. So ayaw ko kung yung mga anak ko about in Inday, siguro si Inday ang sa among pamilya ang magdala si Inday ay alam mo Hindi ko alam kung magustuhan niya ito o hindi. Kung sabihin ko sa inyo, pero huwag na lang ninyo sabihin para do not create unnecessary. Si Baste ayaw talaga. Ayaw. Ayaw niya. Gusto siya tahimik na buhay lang. So, para bang hindi naman ako yung mayaman dito, hindi naman ito negosyo, bakit ako magpatiis dito? It takes a lot of my time, and instead of doing business, he has to take care of public services. Ewan ko si Pulong, hindi ko mabasa, but si Inday probably has baka gusto pa ni Inday manuntok, hayaan mo muna siya doon sa Maynila. Pero ako, I'm tired of politics. Ayaw ko na. Count me out.
Mayor, last lang, ikaw rin kayo maka-explain dyan na sa mga gipugna nila ang intelligence fund na million lang ang kantidad, but it's called an program fund ni Romualdez karon nga gipasulod 450 billion. Although wala pa man ni source, is it possible na masudlan nila ni kwarta og magamit for projects nga dito na pud paingon sa ilang mga lugar? 450 billion ang program fund. Presidente lang daw ang naay discretion ani. But this time nasalot nila nawa makabantay ang Senado. That's why Pimentel will be filing daw a case sa Supreme Court.
Nothing Congress has no limitations. In the matter of appropriations, Congress has no limitations. Although, if it is, of course, courteous, nabigyan mo ng konti baski 1 peso higher than Congress. Pero kung iputupong-tupungon lang nimo, posible. Nothing is impossible. They have the right to divorce. Sila nga ang mag-authorize na magastos ng pera. So kung kanino nila ilagay sa bulsa ba nila o sa tao ba doon sa eskwelahan ba, kanila yung diskarte.
So they can abuse it if they want.
Nothing can stop them.
Pinigilan nila, how do you feel? Pinigilan nila yung kay Inday nga ang ganda ng purpose, tapos million lang yung pinag-uusapan natin doon. Ito billions po yung halaga na blind pa pati Senate, kaya nag-file ng kaso.
Well, hindi mo yan I don't think the courts have they have nothing to do with it. Senate, pag mag-reconcile na yan doon sa when it becomes a law, before it becomes a law, meron man talaga yan doon sa bicameral. Doon na yan magsabihin ng mga senador kasi ascendancy, huwag naman kayong magsobra dyan, tama-tama, moderation, parang ganon. So doon na magkabukuhan yan. Pero
approve na kasi ito, Mayor. Aprobado na kasi ito, kaya sa Supreme Court na ipapile ni Pimentel.
Why? Do you know why?
Bakit po na-approve na hindi nila nalaman?
Do you know why?
Bakit po?
Eleksyon na
So tama ka dun sa sinabi mo na yung kinu-question kanila. Kaya kanila ginaganito dahil sinabi mo Congress is a corrupt institution. Tapos nagalit sila, tapos ngayon 450 billion ito pinag-uusapan.
Ako lang few of us na naging local, naging legislative member ng Congress, pati na President. Mas marunong ako sa kanila.
Ayan, thank you po, Mayor.
Mayor, last that message mo sa passing of Archbishop Davao. You're very good friend.
That's why I not only a good friend but I revere him as a religious man. I've always acknowledged his ascendancy sa buhay ko as a private person, as a public official. Pinapatawag niya ako for advice to me from him. Pupunta talaga ako sa kanya. And there's also some occasions na I sought his counsel. He was a good counselor, advisor. He was a good constituent, and I respect him deeply. I'm sad na sa pagkamatay niya, and I express my utmost profound condolences to the family.
Okay.
Wala na.
Picture lang siya. Picture mi tanan sa imong hapon.
Sure.
Wala man ka picture niyo kanang presidente na.
Oh. Lahat tayo?
Oh, lahat tayo. Yan ka lang. Yan ka lang. Yan ka lang.
O dito sa likod.
Siyempre.